presentation of what we are going to talk about. And no, for those who are Star Trek fans, this is not a red shirt day, and I have no plans of beaming down to the planet not to return. It just turned out to being hey, I didn't expect to have to be on a camera today, and then all of a sudden decided, why not? I have enough logos around here anyway. So if you don't know me by now or not already following me, you're probably wondering who the dude is with the Star Trek t-shirt on. I want to talk a little bit about tomorrow's show. The predication of tomorrow's show is a little bit about right questions, wrong time, or wrong time, right questions, I should say. My apologies for reverse. Wrong time, right questions. As a kind of a proverbial starting topic to this. And I think it goes a little bit in fact of we're kind of transitioning out of conversations of wonder if and when if and how about when we can and the not quite defined future tense of our dialogue as to no, we can't plan for that or budget for that yet or do something about that yet to the, okay, we got to start thinking about that. We need to put some context to that. We need to put timelines to it, or we need to put a stick in the sand as to what we're going to do about that, or we're beginning to decide how much of a budget can we do or should we do for it if you haven't already thought of it, which is why I'm saying that it's right questions, wrong time, or if you can revert it. The idea is we are beginning to put some solidity to our process discussions as we think we're going to be needing to use them. And that's really the gist of tomorrow's conversation. I made the comment to my fellow presenters as I sent them their links for presentation tomorrow and so forth. And when I say presenters, it's a really open dialogue. For those who know our live show, This Week in Hospitality Marketing, it's an open dialogue. It's a chance to intelligently, and I exclude myself in that conversation, dialogue, not always agree by any stretch, how we see current topics, news, and tools and techniques being applicable to our industry right now. Of course, we have been focused on the process of COVID and what it has done to our industry, devastation of our industry, and what our industry members should be doing about it, or should have been doing about it. And we've complained about the fact that they have not taken advantage, full opportunity and advantage, and financially, maybe the inability to and what have you. But now we're getting to a point where, for all the companies, we're in three categories of companies: those that did not operate during this time, those that have survived during this time, and those that have thrived during this time. And they all represent uniqueness as to what they're about to do next, but there is a lot of commonality. And the commonality is, when do I keep the powder that I have kept dry, aka funding and liquidity that I have not used or chose not to use, to go into the stakes of deriving more business based on the demand and opportunity that my market and my product represent. They're all facing that same decision point. As to when that is going to happen in their context. And that's pretty much the gist of our conversation tomorrow, I believe. Well, at least we'll start that way, because I don't control the conversation. I certainly kind of like throw it into the pit and let us all just go at it and see how we agree, disagree, or want to expound on it, or even change the topic entirely. But we're all pretty much very sensitive to current events, current information. We do provide the list that Robert Cole from Rock Cheetah gives us, which is a very well thought out and well curated list from his program that he pretty much picks relevant information of that week and puts it in news articles based on categories. And we use that as a context or fabric tone to our conversation that we can refer to and pull into the conversations as needed. If you'd like to sign up for your own free version of that, Robert has no problems with me promoting the fact that it is free. You can go to bit.ly/rock cheetah, all lowercase, no space. And from that, you can get signed up to his newsletter that we use in context of our live show. That, by all means, does not include all that we talk about in the live show. As a matter of fact, sometimes we don't even get to that list because we're very actively involved in the topics that come to mind as we have co-hosts in. And we have several different co-hosts and brilliant people, actually. People like Edward St. Onge, Stuart Butler, Tim Peter, Robert Cole, Lily Mockerman, Adele Gottman, Dean Schmidt. The list goes on. Ben Trist from 3 and 6 Agency. We have all these great people that pop into our dialogue, and we thoroughly enjoy their context and perspective as to what we're talking about at that time. But I think tomorrow is going to be an interesting dialogue, as it always is, mainly because we're beginning to get a little bit of textured tone to our conversations. For like some of you, actually a lot of you, we've joined into the Clubhouse space. It's a new forum. It's, to me, in my mind, it's not Facebook, it's not Twitter. Already I like it. It's a medium in which audio is the dialogue and not video that we do our live show and have been doing now for in our 7th year. And for those who may not be aware of the size and spectrum of our show, we're in 39 countries, at least on average. We translate our transcriptions into 11 languages, and we have a little over 25,000 people in average attendance or viewership or listenership over the course of the week of the show itself until the next show, on and on and on. So we've been doing this for a lot longer than most people have decided to get into broadcasting space related to hospitality. A lot of other shows and things that popped up, and we're happy for them. The space is in desperate need of more context and relevancy and current information. So we welcome all those that have come to join what we've been doing. But by the same token, we all have different lanes we should pick. And ours is always about being eminently relevant and useful, and not reflective and talking about what the latest investors are doing or what big companies who are making money. That we want to talk to the people that get things done, closer to the rubber meets the road conversations in a lot of ways. Practicalities, technologies, tactics, methodologies, things that need to be done on a daily basis for the perspective of improving hospitality. That's what our show is about. But we've joined in the clubhouse, but I digress. Back to the clubhouse. And it's really given us an insight. I have my insight of it, as we've done a weekly show. Actually, it's a daily show weekly. Monday through Thursdays, because we don't do it Friday because of this live show I'm talking about. We do it Monday through Thursdays at noon. And it's under our own club, Hospitality Marketing Club. From that, we do a daily noon gathering room, and we solicit from the room of attendees what they would like to talk about in next editions of the room. Today we talked a lot about CRM, relationship management softwares and so forth. And there's so many rabbit holes to go down with that. So we figured it would be a part 1 discussion because there was so much to go there. Yesterday, we talked about bots and messengers and its value proposition to it. Before that, we talked about consumer sentiment surveys and information and marketing associated with them. We actually had to break that in a couple of parts because it really toned in on a lot of people. We had huge responses, huge audiences. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make from all this. It's a uniquely new medium. We do podcasts. I do a weekly podcast called Hospitality Marketing, the podcast. We have 4 other podcasts that I'm a pleasure of collaborating with. We have a hospitality sales podcast with Holly Zola. We also have a hospitality reputation podcast with Adele Gottman. We have a hospitality meta search podcast with Dean Schmidt. We have a hospitality revenue management podcast with Lily Mockerman. So we have spectrums of different things that are really great about being relevant and consistent and current. It's not this stagnant, I'm going to show you a training program from something I thought about 6 months ago. It took me 6 months to create, and I'm bringing it to market now because, as we know, in our ever changing environment, yesterday's news is literally that, yesterday's news. And what may have worked then, although possibly applicable, isn't always going to work the same way with the same expectations now. That's not to say there's bad ideas, just bad timing. And nothing is more promoted to that than what has happened to our industry via COVID. No one a year ago-ish, well, maybe about a year ago now, would begin to think about the impact of what was happening. And so we've had to be very adaptive into what we're doing and very adapted as to how we get it done. And that's where the live show has really taken the life into itself. We've learned very quickly through the process of the live show. One, it's very therapeutic for all of us that enjoy talking to each other about things intelligently and listening to intelligent people talk about them. And I say that of my other co-hosts mostly. But also, too, the ability to dissect, break down, and look into more fundamental forms what and how things are being done. Sometimes so often, because of our haste and pace of what we're doing, that we tend to look at it only at a certain level. And if it meets certain criteria that we went in expecting quantifying it for, then we have taken in its whole lump sum and move forward, only to realize that we didn't take enough time with it. The show really provides a chance to dive in deeper. And not because somebody's trying to sell it to you, not because somebody has an ulterior motive of, oh, this is something that I really want to convince you of because there's a value or a hidden agenda to it, but really just a constructive way of looking at stuff and saying, hey, look, other than just listening to my own self think about what I think about this, let me listen to somebody else, especially somebody that doesn't always see it the way I see it or agree completely the way I'm seeing it now. If you keep an open mind and listen to somebody that you truly respect, as they disagree with you, it's not the disagreement that you're focused on as it is the why do you think it differently conversation. And that's what our show does. It allows you to think differently. It's not a rah rah, pom pom. Boy, that's great you're doing that, and so many that your investors are so happy they're making so much money and whatever. It's more about, how does that affect what you're doing? How is that going to help your business while you're doing it, or how is it going to improve what you didn't do already for yourself? It's a great chance to break down things and look at things from a different perspective. You might reaffirm what you've already felt about something by listening to it, or you may begin to question how you looked at something as to whether you should continue to do it that way. Either way, the show has proven its value for doing that. And I welcome all of you tomorrow. For those who may not know the details of getting to our show, that's kind of why I was doing this live right now, was really to go over and say, look, please sign up to join us tomorrow. I don't use the day. This isn't a sales pitch thing of, then I'm going to bombard you with whatever I sell. I'm not selling anything. This is a show that we don't do sponsors. There's no monetization to it. There's no ads in it. There's no commercials. It's us sitting talking. It's like a coffee table of people that are like-minded, intelligent, and thoughtful, and caring about what's being talked about. And you just be able to listen to, and you can contribute. You can join us. This isn't you sitting listening to us the whole time, which is why the Clubhouse angle has been kind of fun for us to augment what we've been doing weekly with the live show, doing the daily Clubhouse, is because really that's just an audio version of what we do with the live show. And because of the medium's newness and uniqueness and bleeding edge mentality to it, we're getting a lot of people that were unaware of our live show realizing that's what we do on the live show, and they've just simply transitioned over. Our audiences have been growing substantially by our engagement on Clubhouse because they know they can do the same thing for where they participate in Clubhouse audibly, okay, much like a two-way podcast, okay, they can come in and video-wise, they can do the same thing. We have learned over the years of doing the live show that a lot of our listenership is just that, listenership. People that listen to the show without us doing talking heads. We very rarely, if ever do a screen share. It's not like we're doing some sort of presentation deck and there's no, this is what it is today kind of thing. It's really talking heads. It's like a Brady Bunch screen of all of us talking that you get to join. If you join our chat onto the side and you feel like you want to contribute to our conversation, you indicate, hey, I'd like to join the conversation. If there's room, and if not, I'll bump out just to make an extra chair. You come join the conversation as well. So we've been kind of doing the Clubhouse thing for 7 years. And now Clubhouse has it where you can just do it for audio. And we're like, yeah, we got to be a part of that. And we are. 4 days out of the week, we're on Clubhouse at noon. And on Fridays, we do our live show at 11:30 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. And from that, you can join us at bit.ly/HDM show 293 is for tomorrow. Okay, so bit.ly/HDM show 293 will bring you to a registration page. You sign up, and that sign up is really just as a reminder of the show. It'll send you a reminder if you want to send it as a phone, text, or as an email. Either way, it's your choice. But also, it gives you a link that you can keep. And of course, the reminder will send you the same link that you can join us for at 11:30 a.m. Eastern and there. Now, we do also simulcast it, much like you're seeing this now, perhaps on LinkedIn or on Twitter and or on our Facebook and or on YouTube. We do it on 14 different channels of stuff on different platforms, which is why we get our audience, because everybody watches us in different platforms around the world. We also, once we do the show, we record the live show, and then we recast it at more applicable time zones. Even though it's amazing to me sometimes that people join us from around the world, all these 39 countries I'm talking about, that join us, and I'm looking at the time clock on my, the world time clock that I have, and going, oh my gosh, that's 2 a.m. your time. What do you, and yet they find it interesting, fun, informative, and they want to be a part of it. And it's like, okay, you're in Bali. That's a weird time zone to be watching this show, but we get regular people from Bali. We get regular people from Spain. We get regular people from Russia. We get regular people from Australia, Sydney, whatever. We simulcast it again, the recording, on Wednesdays, 11:30 a.m. Sydney time, which covers most of the APAC region. That's kind of like baseline, and then it's just 1 hour or 2 hours off, depending. And then we also do it 11:30 a.m. London time, GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. And that usually keeps the European market in 1 or 2 hours from that. We get a lot of people from Dubai as well. And I have to say that the same, too, is coming with us in Clubhouse. Clubhouse, Monday through Thursdays at noon. Again, if you have an iOS phone, which seems to be the only functionality right now that it's on, it's not on Android yet. Not my thing, not my circus, not my monkeys. That you can go in, get the Clubhouse app. If you need an invite, let me know. Just send me an email, lauren@hospitalitydigitalmarketing.com. I'll send you an invite. I think I've got a handful of them. As soon as I run out, I'm sure they'll give me more. And send you an invite, because that's how they're still doing it, kind of, I guess. But it allows you to join, and we do have a club, which is like a hierarchy thing. There's a club called Hospitality Marketing, and in it we do a daily show Monday through Thursday at noon. With some of our other co-hosts on this show, on the live show, we Edward St. Ange and Stuart Butler have also decided to take it upon themselves, because they're a little bit more perkier than I am, at 8 a.m. Eastern time, to do an 8 a.m. coffee talk show, also within the Hospitality Marketing Club. And it's really, again, a chance that you can bring in, listen to. If you don't want to participate, all the good, all the better, much like our live show. But if you want to jump in because you have something to say or a comment or a question, you can do that there too. And it's just smart conversation. It's not, again, I know I keep harping on it, but it's not anybody selling anything. It's not like, oh, well, I happen to be doing this. This is my company, and here's my link, and this is what you can buy, and I'll give you this offer if you want to do it. We don't allow it. It's not a matter of whether we say we don't do it. We don't even allow it. If somebody starts getting too pitchy, like, well, I do this, and this is what I do, and this is what you know, it'd be like, guys, hey, boo. This isn't a sales show, okay? And when we do have special co-hosts, people that are outside our normal co-hosting corral, I don't know, better word, that we am asked to come in, these are industry leaders, presidents of companies, product developers, and so forth. And what we like about them coming in is we only ask them, hey, look, don't sell anything, but you're more than welcome to talk about anything. So if you want to talk about your product and what it does, it's a great chance for people to understand a product, not from an elevator pitch or a sales pitch or a booth that you're going to back in the day when we used to still go to booths and trade shows. It's not about whether you're interested in buying the product. It's a chance to understand what the product does and who it was built for. What does it best do? What does it doesn't do? And where was the thoughts and the processes? And we've learned so much about so many different platforms by talking to the originators or those that are responsible for it, and realize, I always thought it was that, or, your pitch says this, but what you're telling me is that. And it's a really cool chance to dive down without having to have that pressure of, I guess he's going to ask me if I want to buy the thing. It's like going to a timeshare presentation. Yeah, I got the free weekend, but I got to listen to the pitch. It isn't that. And that's what's fun about having co-hosts like that. And then we have people that are industry leaders, people that are doing amazing things. On the month for women, the chance to go over and talk about important issues about it, having people that are movers and shakers in that, having it Human Trafficking Week in January, and having people that are making a difference on that. That's the power of the show. That's the cool part of understanding more about what you may not have understood about, or understanding better something that you thought that you already knew. And that's some of the other value propositions of the live show as well. So it's really cool, casually engaging. Be a part of it if you want to, but listen if that makes it more comfortable for you. Engagement to that. And I do hope that you all get to join us tomorrow. I think I've spent way more time than I anticipated on doing on this, but it's fun. It's a wonderful world to be in right now. The chance to engage in dialogue. And I know we're all looking forward to that first conference we go to. I know I am. I think I'm going to hug more people than I've ever hugged in my life in just one day, I think, because I'm like, bear hug, because you're going to be so happy to see people. We're going to be very thankful to have that privilege. But before COVID, we're kind of like, oh, conference, yay, And then you think of all the, well, I got to put up with this, or I got to do this, or the travel's this, or now it's going to be like, I'm going to do whatever I can to be there because I really want to be there and be with people. Will we go completely back to the way it was? I don't know. I think Google even pointed out that our acceleration of technology is over 10 plus years in growth in the past 10 months. In the sense of how we use technology, what technology's value is for. I think Tim Peter put out just recently an excellent podcast or white paper article or blog, whatever the mastery of Tim Peter does, which is all of those things. About the acceleration of business is going to be different, and what CEOs are doing. He responded to, I think, a conversation about what CEOs are looking at the new world of what business will be. And the fact that most of them consider that it won't be the same as it was is enough to say it probably won't be. And what does that mean in the sense of our industry and what we do to service those that need to travel and hospitality? That's what we do the show for. That's the fun part. That's the cool parts and stuff that we do in dialogue with. So I hope you can join us tomorrow. Again, if you'd like to, I'll be posting the link on LinkedIn and so forth tomorrow as well. Before the show, if you forget what I'm saying right now, or just like, yeah, okay, I'll get to it and then forget it or whatever. But it's bit.ly/HDM show 293. That's for this Friday's show. And then if you want to join us on Clubhouse anytime Monday through Thursday, then you can look for the Hospitality Marketing Club. I know there's lots of clubs, Hospitality Marketing Club, and then look for the room, Hospitality Marketing comma, whatever we're talking about that day. And you'll see a covey of co-hosts in there. We usually have, 10, 15 co-hosts, plus anybody else who wants to come up on stage. It's an open forum dialogue. Again, rules are no pitching, no selling. But other than that, come join the conversation. So I hope you got to join us. Thanks for listening to me the whole time, or listening to the parts that you did. No, it's not a Red Shirt Day, Trekkie fans. It just happens to be I'm a geek, and you got to see me being a geek. So until tomorrow, for everyone that joins us on the live show, Lauren Gray, hoping you all have a awesome, healthy, safe, and most importantly, happy Thursday. What's left of it anyway? All right. Talk to everyone tomorrow.